Can you please describe the journey of BITS from Pilani to Goa, Hyderabad, Dubai, and now Mumbai?
Pilani started its journey somewhere around in 1969. Its Pilani campus. In the year 2000, we moved to one of the campus, first international campus of BITS Pilani. That was in Dubai. In 2004, we opened up yet another campus in Goa. And in the year 2008, in Hyderabad. So the genesis was that as over the time, the number of students were increasing. There was a huge demand for engineering courses. So, one campus cannot accommodate so many students because you need so many resources for that. So this was the primary genesis that why not go, near to other locations of the country, somewhere in the western part of the country, then in Hyderabad, and the university remains the same with its three campuses. So this was with respect to engineering and sciences courses. Now recently, BITS Pilani opened up its campus in Mumbai. So in Mumbai, we have opened up our campus for management, that is MBA, law school, and one design school. So that's a different domain of admissions. There's a different domain where the students come in. But primarily, from the engineering perspective, we have three campuses in India. That is Pilani campus, Hyderabad campus, and Goa campus. So if there is anything specific, about these campuses more, if any of the questions are there, I would love to answer that. But this was the primary challenge.
Now I want to understand why BITSET and how does the entrance exam help in the selection process?
If I talk about different modes of admission BITS Pilani, and when I say BITS Pilani here, it means the three Indian campuses I'm talking about. That is Pilani campus, Hyderabad campus, and Goa campus. So most of the students, they come via BITSET exam only. Okay, so let me articulate it in a different manner. That how many modes of admissions are there? One is through BITSET exam. One is international students who may come in, and one is board toppers. So international students, if I talk about, they have to give a different exam, that is SAT exam. And one more condition about international students is that they must hold a foreign passport, not a non-Indian passport. So their admission is different. Now the maximum pool, if any candidate want to get admitted in BITS Pilani, then the only way out is giving the BITSAT exam. There is no other way. Either you give the SAT exam, or you be the board topper of the respective board, or you have to give the BITSAT exam only. So therefore, the BITSAT exam becomes important. There is no other way. In fact, there's a famous saying that BITS students say here that if you clear BITSAT exam, you are in. If you don't clear BITSAT exam, you're not in. You do whatever you.
One student is asking, does it consider Gujarat's common entrance test or JEE Main, any other entrance exam for admission in BITS?
Unfortunately, no. There is no other exam whose results are considered or whose score is considered to get admitted in BITS Pilani. There's only BITSAT exam whose score is considered to be admitted in BITS Pilani.
JEE Main is conducted in two phases, and from this year, BITSET is also conducted in two phases. So why Institute thought this shift in the phases is required?
During the COVID period, slowly, JEE Mains also started conducting its exam in multiple phases. I think the first one they conducted in 4 phases in JEE Mains. And during that time only, BITSAT was also conducted 2 times. But we saw that this has advantages. I mean, when we talk to the students, this has a lot of advantages because if we see the a candidate's journey, the candidate prepares for 2 years, 2 long years for these type of competitive exams, and they prepare very hard for this. And it happens that sometimes when I talk to these candidate students, they say that sometimes all these students must have noticed that those 3 hours of the exam sometimes it was not my day on that day, because of which I messed up something in the paper or something. So from the perspective of candidates, this is really great that you get 2 chances. And the best thing is that best score out of the two is considered, not the average, not we don't take the different ones. So if a candidate, to iterate it more specifically, if a candidate appears twice, best of the two scores would be considered his final score. And that improves the candidate's chance to be admitted in BITS Pilani. And of course, there is a gap of about a month between the two exams. One is conducted in the month of May, and another is conducted in the month of June. So there's a good gap. So first time if you're giving the exam, and after giving the exam as a student, I always felt that, hey, give me more chance and I'll improve upon my score. These were the factors that why we didn't stop considering conducting 2 times. So this is still in practice, and probably it will be in practice in the near future.
Also, sir, like NTA has reduced the syllabus this year for JEE Main. Is the institute also thinking to make some changes in the exam pattern or the syllabus?
BITSAT exam, the genesis of syllabus, it comes from NCERT syllabus. This is the reason that the question paper is based on NCERT. So since this year, we saw a few changes in the syllabi. We have revised our specifically chemistry syllabus a bit, but most of the syllabus of maths and physics remains the same. So that means it does not happen that every year we would revise the syllabus, because we are based on NCERT syllabus. We take that as genesis basis, not specifically, the different types of exams, different other types of exams or competitive exams which are conducted across the country. And the revised syllabus is available on BITS admission.com. Candidates are advised to see the brochure, and they can always see the complete syllabus.
As the JEE Main session 1 results are out and students are already prepared for JEE Main, so is there any specific things that they have to keep in mind while preparing for BITSET? Yeah, everything will remain the same as per the pattern.
From a candidate's perspective, if I have to answer this question, then JEE Mains, in the subjects which are there in JEE Mains exam, which they test, is physics, chemistry, and maths. And please correct me if I'm wrong if there's any other subject. But the BITSAT exam, the demarcation is something as follows. There is physics, chemistry, maths, as well as there we test the candidates in English and logical reasoning also. So there will be a total of 390 marks paper. And out of that, 30 questions are from, that is total of 130 questions are there in BITSAT. Out of that, 30 are from physics, 30 are from chemistry, 40 are from mathematics, and then 10 questions from English and 20 questions from logical reasoning. So this answers the question probably that how do they appear, how do they prepare? You must also prepare for with English and logical reasoning. My suggestion is that don't leave these two subjects altogether. You must also prepare for logical reasoning and English part also, because they carry 30 questions. So each question correct answer carries 3 marks. So it comes to 90 marks. Secondly, there's a pattern, there's a difference in pattern of, mains and BITSAT. In BITSAT, all the questions are multiple choice questions only, MCQ questions only. Whereas in mains, you have numerical type questions. You have a choice, internal choice in the numerical type questions, but in BITSAT, it is not so. And the third very interesting aspect about BITSAT exam is that we want to give emphasis to find out a meritorious student. So total marks are 390 now, and the total number of questions would become 20 plus 10, 30, 90 plus 40, 130. Now, if during the BITSAT exam, if a candidate gives all the 130 answers, then the candidate gets a choice of getting 12 additional questions After answering all the 130 questions, the candidate gets this choice of 12 additional questions. So this means technically, or a candidate can secure out of 390, the candidate can secure more than 390 marks. That gives you an edge over, of course, the other candidates. If you are really good, then technically you can score more marks out of the maximum marks, possible. So this is one fantastic feature of, BitSat exam.
I want to understand the complete admission process of BITS, like along with the exam bit set, what is the complete admission process?
Thanks for asking this because many candidates, have this question in their minds. From the application applying perspective side, it's a two-step process. The first step is giving the BITSAT exam. Second step is as soon as you give the BITSAT exam and as soon as your exam is over, I mean, within the examination hall itself, as soon as your exam is over, your BITSAT score is displayed. So this means I don't have to wait for my marks after the exam. Once both the sessions are over and, the candidate has got the final BITSAT score, then the candidate has to apply for admission using that score, because now the candidate will have to specifically tell us that these are my preferences. My first preference is Bachelor of Engineering in Computer Science in Pilani campus. My second preference is Electronics and Communication in Hyderabad campus, and so on. So all these preferences the candidate has to list and then apply again. Now, once the candidate has applied and there is a deadline process, there's a deadline, for each step of the admission. Then the iteration process starts. Iteration one. So whosoever is asking the first choice, and based upon the BITSAT score, the seats are allocated. Now, there's a wonderful feature in BITSAT exam, which I would like to highlight here, is the flexibility given to the candidate for the exam. So this means that if I have to list down the first step itself, that means right now, the candidates can go to bitsadmission.com. There is a link, click that link, and you you register yourself for the BITSAT exam. There you give three choices of your cities, that in which city you want to give the exam. Now, after that, the city would be allocated to you. And then there are dates during which you have to select at which date and which slot you want to give the exam, right? So it should not be that I have some family function, or I'm already engaged somewhere. So, and BIT says that give the exam in this particular slot only. So I'm missing it. So it's a candidate's choice. So the first session of the BITSAT exam would be conducted during 19th of May to 24th of May. Both, all the days, two sessions each. So now the candidate will select the date and slot. And once the candidate has selected the date and slot, then the admit card is generated, and then the exam would happen. So once this has happened, I would reiterate, you have to fill up the preference form also. It is not so that just giving the BITSAT exam, you are sleeping in your at your respective homes and saying that I am done, I got a good BITSAT score and I am done. No, you have to tell BITS Pilani that now what are your choices of programs in which you are interested in. And then, of course, it is there. All the timeline is fixed. Again, I would request all the candidates to go to bitsadmission.com and see the important dates section. Everything is fixed, so during which the edit window will come, and during first iteration would happen, second iteration would happen, and the other stuff.
A very great insight, sir. And thank you for mentioning the exam dates. And actually, it's very helpful for the students to select the exam date during their registration already. So it's a very good feature also, because previously we were checking, there were some clashes between the other exams also. So it's a actually helpful feature for the candidates. So now I want to take a query of a student. And one student is asking, is there going to be a new branch on mathematics and computing? So it's a interesting
Okay.
question. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting question, and whosoever asked, in fact, thank you for that. Thanks for the question, because I was about to mention it, and this proves that so these candidates are up to date about the admission process of the all the of this premier institute. Okay, so of course, there's a new branch which would be floated from this semester, and the admissions would be taken in this. This branch is mathematics and computing. We say we say very specifically Bachelor of Engineering in Mathematics and Computing. And it will be offered in all the Indian campuses as well as in the Dubai campus. Now, why this branch was floated and where does it sit is, see, technically speaking, for example, I am a professor in the department, in fact, an associate professor in the Department of Computer Science here itself, holding an additional responsibility of faculty in charge of admissions. So, computer science has a very strong correlation with mathematics. And computers is nothing but it has whole lot of maths behind the scenes. So we thought about that why not bring both the branches together and frame a program structure which can be helpful for the students not only from the computer science perspective but from a mathematics perspective also. So therefore the branch is floated, which would be offered together by the Department of Computer Science and, of course, by the Mathematics Department. So that's a new program which has come up this particular year.
Can you explain about BITS RMIT, what it is, and how to get admission, and who is eligible for that?
Last year, I mean, this process was going up in BITS Pilani since last few years, and last year we materialized that. We were thinking about that can we collaborate? I mean, this was a general philosophy that can we collaborate with some of the top universities of the world and make a program structure something like that candidate can study for 2 years in India and 2 years the candidate can go abroad. So last year we, materialized this, and the first batch was taken for BITS RMIT. We call it as BITS RMIT Higher Academy. So BITS RMIT programs. All the programs are not there. In fact, a very limited set of programs we have collaborated with, that is electronics and ECE, electronics and communication engineering, then ENI, then mechanical engineering, and then civil engineering. Two from Hyderabad campus and two from Pilani campus. So how it is different from one thing is the intake or the admission would be done only on the basis of BITSAT score. So there is no other route which is there via which you can come in. You have to give the BITSAT exam. You have to secure good marks, and of course, the merit would be different for BITS RMIT program. So these are the four courses. The best part is 2 years you will study in India in BITS Pilani, the respective campus in which you are admitted in, and 2 years you will go to RMIT University, Australia. So RMIT University Australia, it is ranked very good in QS ranking, world QS ranking. Now, to add up to this, I would also like to iterate that recently, a couple of weeks before, two new universities have come in of United States of America, US, American universities. One is SUNY Buffalo University, and another one is Iowa State University. So similar kind of programs would be there. That is 2+2, 2 years in India, 2 years in the respective university in US. Similar kind of programs would be floated. So more information would be very soon published on bitsadmission.com. I would advise candidates to please continue looking at bitsadmission.com, and if required, they can contact our office first. So this is a new kind of program which we started from last year, and this is doing really good from the perspective of students because after 2 years they'll go and have an international exposure. They'll go to some of the best universities of the world and study there.
Thank you explaining the process of BITS RMIT. And now I want to take one question of a student. He wants to understand like how to prepare for the BITSET exam.
Difficult question to answer, that how to prepare for BITSET exam. I think if you are preparing for your, other competitive exams, that should be enough. Point number one. From the physics, chemistry, and maths perspective, and as I already answered one of the question, that you should not neglect English part and logical and reasoning part because that also carries a weightage, right? And don't worry. Second thing is which generally candidates say that you have to be speedy in answering the questions during BITS Pilani or BITSAT exam. Speedy in the sense that you get around 130 questions and in 3 hours, right? So you can calculate the numbers. But my suggestion would be that do not mark the, I mean, this is a suggestion as a parent, probably, that you should be very cautious because there is a negative marking also in all the competitive exams. We have the negative marking. It is +3 for correct answer and -1 for wrong answer. So if you don't know the answer, you should skip, and if you know the answer, you should attempt. And you have to be a bit faster as compared to other competition. And all the questions are MCQ questions, so you have to select one out of the four, and the tricks and etc. All these candidates know that how to select the best answer, or what I cannot go deep into.
So now students are actually asking some interesting questions. So one is asking that if he or she can switch the course, like if the person has taken other campus admission in other campus of BITS, and here he or she want to switch into BITS RMIT, is it possible to change the from BITS to BITS RMIT course like after 2 years?
Unfortunately, no, because see, BITS RMIT, the merit would be made different. The merit list would be different, and for BITSAT exam, the merit list would be different. So you cannot say that I got admitted into BITS Pilani and now switch me to RMIT, or vice versa. In fact, you cannot say that I got admitted in BITS RMIT program and then I like to, because see, technically it is something like there's a very hard work which has gone into this, that how do we map the course structure of BITS Pilani and RMIT University? It is not very simple that you will study 2 years here or 2 years there. So we have to map the course structure also. So, for example, and from first year itself, the unique feature is that we have given in BITS RMIT collaboration that a faculty from RMIT University would come to India and stay here with us, and that faculty will take at least one course, so that from day one they know that they are BITS RMIT students. Because of this, they cannot. But yes, of course, apart from this question, generally the question asked by the candidates is that can they switch if suppose they are admitted in, let's say, electronics and communication engineering, can they switch their branch within the BITS Pilani itself? So please allow me to just elaborate within a minute on this. That can you change the branch? Branch change technically possible, but it's very competitive. I mean, generally the rule is that if suppose a candidate A gets admitted in some branch, let us say electronics and communication engineering, and then the candidate says that in my second year, please change my branch to computer science, then yes, it is possible. But for that case, that candidate has to be among top 5 candidates of computer science, or the destination branch where the candidate has to move in or wants to move in. He has to be among those top 5. So if you are so confident that if you get in, yes, branch change is technically possible, and there are few students who get this also.
My next question from you is about the dual degree program which BITS offer. So can you elaborate what dual degree program is, how students can benefit from this dual degree program?
When BITS Pilani probably started, at that time, the founders of BITS Pilani thought about that can we collaborate, or can we bring sciences and engineering together and give a blend? From there, the genesis of dual degree started. So, from the candidate perspective, it means that there are dual degree programs. For example, the candidate can get admission through BITSAT in the first year in MSc, MSc Biology, MSc Chemistry, or MSc Math, or MSc Economics, or MSc Physics. 5 MSc programs. So in first year, you will get the admission. And now, based upon, so since you are coming via BITSAT route, that means you have cleared the BITSAT exam and you are taking admission in one of these five programs, BITS guarantees that you will get a second degree option in your second year. So based upon the CGPA of first year, now the candidates can opt for the second degree, which is an engineering, any of the engineering degree in the respective campus. So if from some of the candidates' perspective, I iterated it to something like that, hey, I am not getting, let us say, BE in computer science because of my BITSAT score, low BITSAT score. Can I take sciences program and then work hard in my first year and then also get my computer science degree? But this is just from candidates' perspective. From the university's perspective, it is a good blend of sciences and engineering. Like, for example, these days, computer science and any engineering branch in blending with economics is a wonderful option. Finance is a wonderful option. So they do all this. And so this is a dual degree program. That means in the first year, you get admitted in your MSc program. Based upon the CGPA, you get the admission, you get the second degree from your second year onwards. The only thing is now your duration increases from 4 years to 5 years. So after 5 years, you get two degrees, one MSc degree for the respective MSc degree in which you were admitted in, and second, the engineering degree which you got in your second year.
Another question is I got from one student who is asking, how is startup culture in BITS?
It's really great. If I have to tell you some numbers, yesterday I was making I was finalizing the poster, so I got the numbers somewhere around, if you totally talk about somewhere around 7,500 startups are there. If you talk about BITS, alumni, and all that, there are 13 unicorns. Unicorn, you would understand, unicorn is the company with a valuation of around $1 billion. And one Decadron is also there, Decacorn is also there. So it's a very wonderful startup culture. We have a huge funding. There's a separate unit, completely separate division which works on this startup. So candidates, they bring their own ideas, they get the funding, they get the space to work on, they get all the possible support from the university for the startup. So startup culture is fantastic here. What next to elaborate on this? I can put all the numbers in front of you, but in one statement, it's one of the best in the country.
Another question is from a student. He or she wants to understand the scholarship process. What are the scholarship the institute has and how students can avail them?
According to one statistics, first of all, scholarships are given every semester. So every semester, you get your CGPA, then you apply for the scholarship, and of course, you will get it. If you fit in the norms. Now, if I have to tell you that how the scholarships are divided, we divide the scholarships in primarily in two categories. And one thing to reiterate before going into these two categories, that these scholarships are available in the first semester itself. So that means if you have a good BITSAT score, you will, it's a high probability that you might get these scholarships. Okay. So coming on to these two categories, one is merit scholarship, we say, and one is merit come need scholarship. So if I have to talk about merit scholarship, so merit scholarship is purely on merit. So generally, we say that top 1% of the candidates will get 100% tuition fee waiver, and the next top 2% of the candidates will get 40% tuition fee waiver. So that is to say, if you are among the top 1% of the BITSAT scorers, you get 100% tuition fee waiver in the first semester itself. And then, of course, the journey starts. If you secured good rank, good CGPA in every successive semester, you get the scholarship. That is merit scholarship. Now, talking about the other scholarship, merit come need scholarship. So this is for low income group, people. The scholarship is given away that so here the criteria is, of course, your CGPA would matter, and in the first semester, of course, your BITSAT score would matter, but your family income has to be below a certain amount, and that amount, of course, will tell you, when the scholarships are dispersed. Generally, that amount is ranges between 12 lakhs to somewhere 14 lakhs, 15 lakhs, your parents' income. So that means the low income group candidates. Huh? Now here, the top 3% students get 80% scholarship. Then next 6% get around 40% scholarship. And next 12% get about 25% scholarship on their tuition fee. And finally, next 6% get 15% on their tuition fee. So this is the scholarship detail. And if I have to tell you one statistics that how many scholarships are there, then about 30% of the candidates, they get a scholarship in some form or the other. About 40%. I would like to underline this because, of course, these numbers would vary every semester, and then there is a student aid fund we have. If there is some student who is really needy, and then from that fund also the things are provided. Sometimes it happens that during the journey of during the academic journey in BITS Pilani, something happens in their family, something disaster happens in the family. Then it is not so that because of peace your academic journey will stop. We are always there to help you out. You know. In fact, I would like to mention that this year we are also working on a unique kind of a scholarship. That means especially for girl students, female students, if we are working on that, can we guarantee to a low income girl candidate? Low income girl candidate means whose parents' income is less than certain amount, the scholarship for all the 4 years. And we can guarantee that if you maintain your CGPA above a certain level, then we'll give you the scholarship for all the 4 years. So there are, I don't think so. Of course, I very well know as a parent that you know fees structure of privately funded universities is good enough, but there are huge number of but there's good amount of scholarships which are available. There are alumni of BITS Pilani sitting all over the world, everywhere, and they are very generous in donating the scholarship to the scholarship funds. So this is about the scholarship, and this scholarship you avail, I would reiterate, in your first semester itself based on your BITSAT score.
How many students generally appear for BITSET and how many seats are there?
If I talk about the statistics of 2023, uh, there are two sessions, as I've already said. So in the first session, around 1,20,000 or 1,22,000 students, they appeared for session one, and about 80 to 82,000 students appeared for session two. Of course, there is a overlap in the sense that there is a candidate who might have appeared for both the sessions. So that candidate will be considered as one candidate only. And there is a candidate who appeared only for session one. There is a candidate who appeared only for session two. So, but these are the numbers. And the total number of seats which we have in all the three Indian campuses is around 3,500 seats. Is around 3,500 seats for which these candidates are.
I also want to understand the new course you have added to the Mumbai college that you have explained earlier, the design course you have introduced to the Mumbai campus. So, can you explain about the design course, their admission, eligibility?
Truly speaking, this does not come into at present my domain. So design college is conceptualized, and this would be the first batch which would be coming in from this semester, from the upcoming semester only. There is a separate college. This is a separate. Of course, it's a part of the BITS Pilani University, but this is a separate division in Mumbai.
Can you throw some light on the placement of the university course-wise, if you can help students to understand about this?
Placements are good. I mean, I don't think so that students need to worry about the placements. I'll articulate this answer in a different form, and this would answer one more question, which probably these candidates have in mind. That generally, what about the internships and what happens that how do I work in the industry? Do you provide some guidance and something like that? So this is one of the unique feature, and this is related to placement. If we are only teaching theoretically to you guys for 4 years and giving you no industry exposure, then also it is, I personally believe this is not good. So you have two industry exposures during your 4 years program. And remember, this is the responsibility to a larger extent. This is the responsibility of the university, of the institute to send you. It is not like this that you have to select, you go somewhere and you get some, internship and we will provide you the letter and so on. No, it is the university's responsibility to send you because this is treated as a course. This is not just an industry program. So after your 2 years, that means first year you complete, second year you complete. Then during your summer vacation for 2 months, you will go to some industry. Some industry guaranteedly you will go, right? We call it as a practice school one. So that is the first exposure all these candidates get, industry culture, how the people work there. They work closely, with some of the best minds of the world, of the companies. That is first. Now, this is not optional. Okay, so you have to go. And as I said, I would emphasize it again that it is the university's responsibility to send you that to some of the other companies. And of course, it depends upon your CGPA, it depends upon your other stuff, what you are scoring. This is a course for which a professor will also go along with you to the respective company, and you will be monitored that whether you are going daily to the company or not, and other stuff, and you will be graded in that. And that grade reflects in your final grade sheet. Second, so this is one for 2 months, you go to industry. Second, you go for 6 months, or not 6 months, but one full semester to the industry. So generally, other universities have the final year project. Here, the final year project is per se not there, but it is the practice school too. So for one full semester, you go to some industry, work there. For one full semester, you work there. Again, there would be a faculty associated with you. The faculty would be monitoring you, that what you are doing, some tests, etc., would happen in between. But you work closely with that company. The company will give you certain tasks. The company would give, and you have to work on that. So these are the two unique aspects which I see about BITS Pilani. Now, coming on to the interrelated task called placement. It's a very straightforward point. You might have understood that if a candidate is going to some company and working there for a full semester, and if you are really good, then that company will give you the pre-placement offer, right? And many of the BITSians, they get that pre-placement offer during the practice school 2 itself. Okay, so this is one. Second, about the placement statistics, of course, you get placed. I mean, until and unless you do blunder here during your study, until and unless you get involved in some other different kinds of activities. I don't want to elaborate on that. Then, of course, you get placed. If I have to tell you some statistics, in Pilani campus, if I talk about the median salary of 23, because 2024 placements are currently going on, the median salary was somewhere around 18.5 or 18.2 lakhs to be very specific. The average package CTC was 20.79, 20 lakhs average package. Of course, max and min, you should not fall into in that particular trap, because who knows that maximum is 1 crore or 1.5 crore, or few lakhs and all. But placement, etc., I don't think so these candidates should worry about. There's a completely separate division which work for practice schools. That means saying that you will go to some industry and work.
There are something you cater to help the students, like you develop extracurricular skills that will help them to get this placement offer or the internship? Is there something extra in the institute provides?
Apart from the regular curriculum which you are undergoing, now there is one more option which we introduced here in BITS Pilani a few years back, and that is related to minor programs. So that is to say that if suppose I am admitted or a candidate is admitted in some branch, let's say mechanical, and the candidate is also interested in finance, then the candidate can take the finance as a minor and can get a certificate of minor completion during his academic journey in BITS Pilani only. So finance is very hot minor. That's what I'm telling you. There are minors in data science. There are minors which are offered by all the departments. So this is one extra, feature again, which helps candidates to get placed of course, in their dream companies, whatever these students they call that. And of course, there's a fantastic culture here in terms of which I personally like also. There are different clubs, coding clubs are there, and robotics club is there, and there are different clubs. In first year itself, the candidate can get admitted in or can join one of the club and develop skill during the 4 years by being the part of that club. These candidates, for example, they learn a lot of management related things. Uh, for example, during cultural fests which BITS Pilani organizes, there are few thousand students from other part of the India who would come to one of the campus. Now organizing them, you know, that's a huge task in itself. And believe me, none of the faculty member is involved in that. Everything from top to bottom, raising the funds for that to everything. Of course, few of the faculty members are involved as a mentors, but everything is done by these guys. So that's a fantastic thing, which I personally also like.
One student is asking a question that how BITS is different from NITs. Like that's a question they are asking ke, how to choose between NIT and BITS.
Many parents, they ask me this question, but it is a very difficult question to answer because this is your, perception. This is what you need, right? So, for example, if you are getting which branch you are getting, in which NIT you are getting which branch, what are the placement records of that NIT university? What are the placement records here? What candidates do here? So there is whole lot of things which go into their decisions, and these decisions they vary from person to person, candidate to candidate, parents to parents. So there is no some laws or there's no some algorithm as a computer science person. If I say if you feed some data into that and that algorithm will tell you that you should go into NIT or you should go into BITS Pillar. But there's a human decision process which only you can.
Can you help students like they are preparing for BITSET, but they fail getting the previous year question papers? They're not getting from anywhere. They just have the mock test from different websites and outside sources. So, is there the institute can provide them the previous year question paper on the website, or they can anyone help?
Unfortunately, not. We don't, make some kind of a question bank or something using which you can practice or that. But the general answer to this question is that if you are preparing for other competitive exams, this is as good as you're preparing for your BITSAT exams also. See, physics remains the same, chemistry remains the same, mathematics remains the same. So, and no other alien subject we'll ask in the, apart from, of course, logical reasoning and English, no other alien subject we'll ask during the exam. So the candidates have to prepare thoroughly from how they are preparing in general.
Is there any research opportunity and then any specific course or can you elaborate a bit about it?
In BITS Pilani, when you are doing courses, like up to 12th standard, you are doing the subjects. Like in BITS Pilani, also you will do courses in the different subjects. You have specific courses which you can do, that is study oriented projects, computer oriented project. You know, so what these projects courses are? So it's a course, it's a subject which you are doing. Okay. Now, what this course is that you go to a professor, you approach a professor and you request a professor that I want to work with you for 1 semester or 2 semesters in your research work. Now, if the professor allows you, and generally all the professors they allow, okay. So if the professor allows you, then you register in a project type course under that professor. Now, now there is a one-to-one mapping between the professor and the candidate. There's a one-to-one mapping. The candidate will go and contact the professor. The professor will tell him something to read some of the research papers, and then candidate will go back. He'll come back again, and implementation, etc., in different technologies, whatever that professor research is doing. Generally, the candidate do that type of research or contribute that type of research with that professor. So there's a fantastic research culture here. There's a fantastic research culture here in terms of these courses, which is inculcated within the program itself. So there is no separate. You don't have to think about that. I'll go separately to a research for doing my research. It's a part of your curriculum which you have to go.